Tonight we are going to sort of stay away a little bit from politics and economy, and we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, and that is archaeology here in Egypt. I'm very excited today because I have a very, very dear friend who's joining me here in the studio to talk more about the Egyptian Grand Museum, its inauguration. What is it going to be consisting of? What are we expecting? We're going to talk a lot about the stories, the endless stories, the very exciting ones that he always shares with us. Dr. Bassam Shammaa, historian and a member of the Historical Society. Thank you very much. It's been years since we have had this interview together. I'm very, very happy that you're here today. And let's talk about the Egyptian Grand Museum. It's one of the biggest expected, I don't know if I should call it a project or inauguration, that will be taking place very soon, and it's going to be the biggest in the region, if not in the world, because of the number of artifacts that are going to be included and all that. Tell us about that, but if you would allow me, because I'm supposed to be, I got really excited about meeting you today. I forgot we have a report that I have to actually go out to. So let's take a look at this report about the Egyptian Grand Museum, and when we come back, Mr. Bassam is going to tell us what are we expecting to see at this Grand Museum.
During President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Antiquities Khalid El-Anani, Chairman of the Administrative Control Authority Mohammed Arfan, Giza Governor Mohammed Kamal El-Dali, and Chief of the Engineering Authority of the Armed Forces Kamel El-Waziri, President el-Sisi stated that Egypt will witness a great cultural progress by 2020, which coincides with the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum, as it will be the biggest cultural event in the world. The meeting tackled the recent developments in the GEM, Giza Plateau Development Project, and other projects aiming at developing the archaeological sites across Egypt. President el-Sisi called for completing GEMS construction phases by 2020 to coincide with the inauguration of the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Sira site, New El Alamein city, and the new administrative capital, to which the ministries will move in 2019. The head of state stressed the importance of showing commitment toward taking the necessary safety measures at the GEM and carrying out the required preparation procedures for the museum's inauguration, affirming that the Grand Egyptian Museum would be an icon in terms of design, space, and the antiquities presented. Minister of Antiquities Anani reviewed during the meeting efforts exerted by the National Commission for Antiquities in Egypt and the ministry's plan to develop antiquity stocks and promote for tourism in Egypt through the temporary exhibitions presenting Egyptian antiquities. Chief of the Engineering Authority of the Armed Forces El-Waziri, for his part, pointed out to the projects implemented by the Ministry of Antiquities in cooperation with the Engineering Authority of the Armed Forces, including the development project of Luxor's El-Kibash Road and the restoration project of the Baron Palace, the Greek Museum, and the Jewish Museum in Alexandria. The General Supervisor of the Grand Egyptian Museum, Tariq Tawfiq, revealed that the soft opening of the museum would be in the first quarter of 2019. Tawfiq explained that the Grand Egyptian Museum's first stage will be completed by the end of 2018. The Grand Egyptian Museum will witness for the first time the display of all Tutankhamun's artifacts, which amount to more than 5,000 pieces gathered in one place. The museum's lobby will host the statue of King Ramses II and the column of his son, King Merimbetah. The grand staircase will include 87 royal statues and large architectural elements, including statues of Kings Khefre, Menenkure, Sensorit, Akhenaten, and Amenhotep III.
Welcome back again. You're still watching us here on the Daily Debate, and When we went out to this report, another guest joined us in, and I'd like to also welcome him this evening, Dr. Yahya Abdel Qadir, who's a former tourist councillor and the Egyptian Tourist Authority. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Earlier we had also welcomed very warmly Mr. Bassam Shammaa, historian and a member of the Historical Society. Thank you once again. Dr. Yahya, before we went out to this report, I was just about to ask my first question. Allow me to start with Mr. Bassam. We were talking about this particular Grand Egyptian Museum project, and when are we expecting it to inaugurate, and what is going to be different about it?
Right, the birth of the idea is to gather a big number of our monuments, including, of course, the amazing figure which changed the chapters of history, I think, in our beautiful country. We used to hear things like we excavated only 30% of what is there, 40% of what is there, until Sarah Parker came, and she is studying the Egyptian monuments via NASA satellite pictures.
Wow.
And that became the space Egyptology. Can you believe that expression? There is something now called space Egyptology. So I love Sarah Parker. I never met her, but I love her job. I would love to work with her one day. Sarah Parker came up with a sentence which I think we need to put it at the entrance of this grand museum.
All right.
We in Egypt excavated less than 1% of what is there. Less than 1%. Bear in mind the greatest standing temples, erected temples in the world, the Karnak temples, the tombs, the temples, the Islam. You are talking about less than 1%.
So does that mean that they know where it is?
Yes.
Okay,
and
because that's a different story. Yeah, I think that would be more interesting for Egyptians to know.
Because she introduced to us also something about can be a possible pyramid. Here is another expression that we never heard before. And I've been reading Egyptology for 39 years, the first time to hear possible pyramid, because she studied it by the satellite photos and pictures, but she's not sure it's a pyramid for 100% until they go and excavate. All of this is a good introduction to the project, and well said when you said the project of the Grand Egyptian Museum. Now, the introduction started by the moving of the huge colossal statue of Ramesses II, the very famous 400 meters, the last 400 meters, because this statue moved. This statue is mobile. It went from Mitrahina in Giza to Ramses Square, which was not called Ramses Square at that time. From Ramses
I
Square,
witnessed it's moving from Ramses Square. It took us like 18 hours.
You did?
Yes, I did. It
Wow.
was like really years back. I'm a bit old in this
great patience. I remember
Yeah, we
they
walked
had to
with
to cut the pedestrian bridge if you
yeah, and then we ended our
pass.
journey with having breakfast at this very famous.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you told me about it, by the way, if you remember. That's a really fun time.
That was great fun. So yes,
Yeah.
it's the people know about it, the world know about it now. The promotion is going to be great. We need to make an opening which is equal to the importance of what is in.
Now, Dr. Yahya, apart from how important it is now,